becoming her or becoming that girl is realizing, what do you truly believe that you deserve? And why don't you believe that you deserve certain things? Hey y'all, it's your girl Funmi-Layo. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like this video because it helps other people to see the video, and make sure to subscribe because we have awesome content on this channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the whole becoming her trend on YouTube, and just like my thoughts on it and everything like that, and how I myself am trying to do it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. First off, I love it. I love like anything self-empowerment, anything like anything kind of basically making people want to level up and want to be better people themselves. I just think it's so freaking dope. So the fact that it's now becoming a movement, the whole becoming her, romanticize your life thing, I feel like that's really good. But I feel like there are certain things that we also need to think about ourselves when we are like on this becoming her journey or whatever. So the first thing I would say is that her is different for everybody, right? So there are some people who their peak their peak potential that they idolize for themselves is somebody who like dresses up every day, who wears makeup every day, who wears like luxury handbags and drives a luxury car and has like a billionaire or millionaire husband. Like that is some people's ideal, right? But then there are other people who her is somebody who works on a farm, somebody who lives off of the land, somebody who is constantly giving back to people who doesn't have much, people who are like at their core minimalist, where they don't even have, like, they basically have nothing. They live out of a suitcase. That's some people's ideal. Some people's ideal could be, some people's her is somebody who has a huge house, and some people's her is somebody who's a nomad, a digital nomad that lives everywhere and nowhere at the same time, you know? So I think that we need to realize that it is subjective. I don't think that there's one pinnacle like style of person. So I feel like it shouldn't be a monolith. Like her does not look the same for everybody. For instance, her, I don't necessarily think she is always super dolled up with makeup, right? Though since I have been in Miami, I have been wearing makeup more, but the thing about it is her has like her skin under control. So my skin, I'm dealing with hyperpigmentation, okay? So I'm trying to cover up the zipper to my jeans, but I'm dealing with hyperpigmentation, so I do tend to wear makeup more often when I go out. But the reality is her does not wear makeup all the time. That's not the thing for me, you know? Her is just somebody who's like put together, does dress nice, right? You know, the hair stays well groomed and everything like that, but does wear lashes. Like, try to define her, write it down on a piece of paper. I was listening to a podcast, I believe it's called Manifest with Tori Desimone, or Manifest with, what is her? I can't recall it right now, but I'll make sure to put her channel, not her channel, but her podcast in the description box, or put it on the screen. But Manifest with like Tori Desimone or something like that. And she said this before it became like the hype and everything. She was like, literally write down like at your ideal, at your peak, every single thing that you would do. Like, what would your morning look like? Like, what would you be wearing? Like, what's like your workout routine? Where do you live? Like, what do you eat? All of that, all those specific things, right? So it's important to keep that in mind. And so I think that is the first thing in becoming her, is to write down, who is your her? Like, who is that girl to you? Becoming that girl, like, who is that to you? Because that girl for everybody is different, right? I could point somebody out to you and I could be like, yo, she is so bomb, she's fire. And you could be like, what's so great about her? You know what I mean? So everybody's different. So it's important to define it for yourself first before the world defines it for you. So that is something to keep in mind. Although it does, let's be real, outside influences like do impact and shape our perception. But as much as we can think freely and out of groupthink, I recommend, and I'm a strong proponent of. So that's the first thing. And I would say, like, personally, once I kind of wrote down my list and everything. And I feel like I'm constantly revising. I wouldn't say constantly revising my list, but maybe adding stuff to my list, right? More specific details and things. I realized like, okay, not only is it the lifestyle, like I said, but it's also the mindset, and just like we talked about, some character traits. Because boundaries, like for instance, my ideal person is great with boundaries. Her, to me, that girl knows how to set her boundaries, respects her boundaries, and sticks with it. It's just they're just things. When I wrote that list, and I feel like, and why I do think everybody should write that list, and I'm glad that the girl did recommend in her podcast to write a list down, is although her list was more so based on like what you would be doing each part of the day or everything, but anyways, is because when I also wrote down the list of like how my person would be, how they would act like, and all of that, it kind of shined a light about some things within me that I didn't like about myself. Some things within me that I need to change, some areas that I need to grow. And it caused me to question and ask myself, like, what am I doing to try to reach this peak that, I say that I want to get to? Is it just something I'm saying, or do I actually want to embody this? Am I actually taking steps to move forward and become this person that I say that I want to be, right? And I feel like it's very telling, and it can be kind of emotional, because like, I'm trying to think of one thing off of my list where I was like, dang, you know what I mean? I think for me, it's just, it was a couple of things that really hit home for me and kind of like hit my heart. And I'm just like, I really want to get to this place, for me, that would make me happy, and I think that it's a daily choice, because becoming her or becoming that girl is really just showing up for yourself. And I hear that term more and more often now, because people are asking like, are you showing up for yourself today? And even in sometimes in my life and sometimes in my day-to-day, I ask myself like, are you showing up for yourself? Because showing up for yourself, it's dynamic, because you can show up for yourself by like showing up for your body in the sense of the things that you eat, what you consume, your workout regimen, or you can also show up for yourself in the sense of what you allow, right? What is what you're allowing in your life saying about you? Are you that girl? Are you her? Really? Like, what you're doing, is that something that is characteristic of that girl or the her that you want to be? And really asking myself those questions and trying to break down how I can feel empowered enough, or like how I can push myself to be the person that I want to be, and what limiting beliefs do I have that are holding me back. I feel like that's a big one. Once I wrote out my list, is like some of the things, right, in the lifestyle or in the the relationship aspect of her or that girl, do I actually believe that I can achieve it, right? Do I actually believe that I have it, or that I deserve this, So I feel like also becoming her or becoming that girl is realizing, what do you truly believe that you deserve? And why don't you believe that you deserve certain things? And I had to ask myself that, because I'm like, it just hit me. I'm like, dang, so I want this, and I always say I want this and that, but the way what I give off, my aura and everything like that, is it calling that towards me? Like, is it reflective of somebody who really wants this? The way I behave, like even my thoughts, are they reflective of somebody who believes that they actually deserve, or can even, have, whether they deserve it or not, it's even possible for you? And it made me remember this point in my life where it was like a couple years ago, and I was just so unhappy in my job. I was so unhappy. It was just like I was not in the best place. And I was like, I had put up an Instagram post, and it was saying, I'll bring it up for you guys. I did a photo shoot with a photographer, and the photographer had me like crossing the street, and there were like people kind of a blur, like that were crossing amongst me or whatever. And I said, the caption of it for me was, what's crazy is that I feel just like this picture. Because there were some people watching me, some people like moving around, and I was in the middle of the street, just kind of like lost, like looking away. You know the modeling pictures where you be trying to, But I wrote, what's crazy is that I feel just like this picture, at a crossroad. Things seem unclear, people and time passing by while I'm searching for purpose, attempting to put myself together. But as with everything in life, this too shall pass. I'm reminding myself daily that life is a journey and not a destination. And I'm thanking God for the people he's placed in my life to support me along the way. But that's not even, I feel like that's not even the one. It was another one where it was like, okay, yes, it's this one. It's this one. But that is also reflective of a point in my life where I was just like, dang, like, what the heck, where I was definitely not her. And I feel like that was actually the first time that I wrote any type of list, because I think that's when I ran up on Old Girls podcast. But this other post that I put up, and it was a photo shoot that I did in New York. Same job, still feeling sad at the time. It was nothing wrong with the job. It was just like, there's seasons, right? And if you stay in something longer than you need to, it's going to be uncomfortable. You will experience growing pains because you are meant to grow. You are meant to progress, right? So I had put as the caption, who would you be if you stopped doubting yourself? What self-limiting beliefs are standing in the way of you living in purpose? I recently realized that I've subconsciously internalized this belief that extraordinary things can't happen for or to me. I really had to reflect. When has God ever failed me that I should lose faith? I would just let that sink in for me too, honestly, because I feel like you can learn a lesson, but sometimes you got to relearn it. Sometimes you have to remind yourself, because unconsciously you could be revisiting old mindsets and old ways of old thought patterns. You could be revisiting old mindsets and old thought patterns that will only draw you back, right? And that won't propel you forward. And me remembering that, which was what I really wanted to show you, is just me realizing with the list and some of the things on the list, how, even when I talk about some of the things that I want, that I truly desire for myself, how I subconsciously felt like, I don't know if this could really happen for me. I was talking to somebody 2 nights ago, and and I was telling her, like, with some of even my preferences in certain things in my personal life, I will make the pool broader, because though I really want this specific thing, I will make the pool broader and not just like I'm open to this. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take this, I'll take that, or whatever, just because it's like, I don't truly, but if I'm honest, I don't truly believe that. Or I guess I'm losing hope kind of that I could get exactly what I want, right? And that's not good. That girl for me is somebody who does not lose faith. And I feel like it's okay. It's okay because I realize it, right? I realize like, hey, you got this limiting belief here. Obviously in that past, at that time, I had a limiting belief, but I grew past that situation, and thank God, like God has really done some wonders in my life since that point. Because I was, like I said, I was not in the best place. I was still having fun here and there, but still, like, fundamentally. And I feel like now I'm able to see another limiting belief that I have as to why I might not be receiving what I believe that I want, and I think is God's desire for me, because at the end of the day, something that I have been really praying and just been running through my head is that, God, I don't want whatever you don't want for me, right? It would be terrible to want something that will bring you pain, right? It would be terrible to welcome your own demise. That girl to me is somebody who is aware that God's best is your best. Like, what God has for you is what you really want. But the whole manifesting thing, it can get kind of a little bit tricky now. As a Christian, I do believe in manifesting, but I believe it's only what God wants for you, or what God wants to happen. So it's like manifesting within the realms of his desire for your life, his plan for your life, his purpose. So yeah, so I don't know. So that was something that I just had to take in. And I'm like, is it that you don't believe that, you can have this alone, or also that you don't believe that God wants this for you? Just really check your mindset. I'm saying all this to say mindset is the key in all of this, right? Really see your mind. What do you truly believe? And what do you say you believe, but what do you actually embody? I was having another conversation with another friend recently, and we're talking about, my desires, and then also what I embody. And, we're talking about her too. We're just talking about in general, like, who are you really? Who really are you right now, right? Who do you want to be? I think with the whole becoming that girl, I'm trying to tie it all together, but who you are, you got to really be honest with yourself where you're at right now. Be honest with yourself who you want to be, and be honest with yourself in between who you are and who you want to be. What are the limiting beliefs, right? What is the poor work ethic that is keeping you from there? Or what is the lack of consistency? What are the bad relationships? Because it's honestly, it's like it all ties together. It all ties together. Because I also, with my list, have to, realize, okay, well, you say you want this, you say you want that. What opportunities or are you not going for? What relationships are you actually intentionally building to get to this point? How are you putting yourself out there? What are you staying away from in order to stay focused? Because not every opportunity is meant to be taken for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, certain things are distractions, right? How are you aligning yourself? How do you spend your time? I feel like a lot of becoming and getting to where you want to be is down to those little habits, how you spend every time, all those small parts of the day. I will be the first to admit that I spend too much time on social media. Y'all, it's too much. Like, I spend too much time. But like, figuring out those little things in your day-to-day life where you can make improvements that'll help you get to that next level. What little things can you do every day? And the girl also says it in her podcast. Definitely, I'm going to put her podcast up there. Like, and there's a book that somebody recommended to me called Atomic Habits. And they said it's really important. Those small changes and the repetition, the things that you do subconsciously, it becomes who you are. So you just have to be intentional about doing certain things over and over, so it becomes like second nature. So even when it comes to like working out, when it comes to like eating healthy, I can be here and there when it comes to those type of things. So being intentional about making it like clockwork for you. But this whole video is just to let you know that, like, the whole becoming that girl, that whole thing, even before the whole YouTube videos, like I said, it's a while ago I've been thinking about this, like how I view like myself at my peak, what that would look like. It just really makes you reflect and really makes you kind of have a come to Jesus moment about like, what do you need to work on? Like, how can you be better? What risks do you need to take? How are you holding yourself back? These are some questions that we need to ask ourselves, and, and just grow from there and actually take steps to figure out how to improve and to get to, where we're trying to go, So that's that. Make sure to comment down below what becoming her or becoming that girl, what that looks like for you. And feel free to have your own view. You don't have to want what everybody else wants. You don't. I'm a firm believer. You don't have to. I be liking nice stuff though. I'm not gonna lie. But there are some things in her and that girl that you might be surprised about, or that you might be like, what? Like, nah, I wouldn't do that. But that's you though, right? And I'm me. So allow yourself to be an individual in terms of everything you want. But it's also very okay to like the same things as other people, because I see a lot like people like, oh, like everybody likes that. Okay, yeah, that's fine, because it's, you know, everybody likes it, but it might be a good thing. So it's also okay to want the same things that other people want, but feel free to also desire the things that you desire, you know? So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. I don't know if this is like an awkward position to be sitting in. I was trying to give y'all comfortable, but it's not really comfortable. You know, I was trying to give you guys chilling on the couch intimate, but I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.